All I know is I was blind, and now I see. These words come from the Gospel of John, spoken by a man born blind, after being mysteriously healed by Jesus. I was blind, and now I see. The gift of seeing and recognizing Jesus as God. There's a Christian song with this sort of prayer. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. I might add, Jesus, I want to know you. I want to follow you. I want to worship you. I want to be in communion with you. Today's gospel here, the two disciples recount what had taken place on the way and how Jesus was made known to them. How? In the breaking of the bread. How often you hear me say, I love being Catholic. There's no greater gift on earth than to be Catholic. Why do I say that again and again? It's because of a person, Jesus Christ. We asked some of our high school kids this past week, how do you want to be remembered? What would you want written on your gravestone? I wonder how some might remember me. Some would maybe say, Father Paul, he loved fishing. He loved fishing. Father Paul, he was a nice priest. Smiling so often. Might say, Father Paul, he really loved life. And all of these things are good. Might say, Father Paul, he loved to be a priest. And I know he loved being Catholic. He talked about it all the time. Okay, that's better. But ultimately, what matters most? How would I most want to be known and remembered? To say that priest, way back then, whatever his name was, all I know is he loved Jesus Christ. All his hope was in Jesus Christ. He lived his life striving to be in communion, one with Jesus Christ. So as I say, I love being Catholic. There's no greater gift on earth than to be Catholic. Why repeat that over and over again? Because there is no greater way on earth to recognize, to know, and to even live in communion with Jesus Christ. This is the church he established, the Holy Catholic Church. And it's his Catholic Church that preserves these 7 sacraments, all of the sacraments that he himself instituted. And the sacrament of all sacraments, the source and summit of our entire life, is the most holy Eucharist, the breaking of the bread. And why? Because the Eucharist is God. The Eucharist is Jesus Christ himself present among us. Jesus is made known to us, seen by us, even received by us, precisely in the breaking of the bread, the most holy Mass. Now there are Christians who will often pride themselves on emphasizing a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? This is a question they'll often ask. How is a Catholic to respond? Well, yes, of course. But through his church, by his sacraments, we are offered so much more. We do not stop at a personal relationship with Jesus. We're offered divine union, a whole different depth and degree of relationship, true intimacy with Jesus, literal communion with Jesus. The gift of Holy Communion, Sam will be receiving the first time this morning. We aren't simply close with Jesus or side by side, but we're invited to be one with him. As those two disciples on the road to Emmaus had been, they say, "Stay with us, Jesus. Stay with us." In the Catholic Church, in the Most Holy Eucharist, in communion with the body and blood of Christ. Indeed, the Lord Jesus stays with us and we with him.